Hey everybody, 80 here. Happy Thursday, live office hours today. And do I have a treat for you? Great to have you. We've got a little guest here today from one of my favorite job searching tools, Jobscan. Her name's Jessica. She's in the green room. I'm going to bring her out here in a second. But you know I got to say my hello first. So great to have everybody today. Whether you're here with me live or watching this on the recording, helping you build a career you love. Get in the chat if you're here with me. Tell me who you are, tell me where you're from, tell me what you do, let me know what you need, and make sure to put some question marks in front of your questions. Today, it's a free-for-all like always, but since we have Jessica Nath here, I want to be able for you to take advantage of her knowledge with Jobscan. We're going to take the Jobscan questions first, and if there's any time left, I'll be able to go through the chat with you, after we sign off with her, and I'll do my best to pick up whatever questions you have. All right, so what's today all about? Well, if you've been following me for a long time, or any period of time for that matter, I recommend Jobscan as a tool to help you better align your resume to what employers need when they show you a job description or they identify their products or services that they are selling into this world. They're looking for people to help them deploy it, build them, and all that good stuff. And so, one of the things that I always recommend is I want you to actually search. I want you contacting people directly. I want you to try to avoid applicant tracking systems as much as possible, simply because they're very crowded. It's difficult for employers to farm them. You have a lower likelihood of getting through and getting an interview that route. But we want to make sure that you have every advantage if you need to go through the applicant tracking systems. So Jobscan is a tool that has a number of different capabilities, not just for helping you optimize your resume as it relates to a particular job description, but they've also got other tools for career changers, people who want to optimize their LinkedIn profile. And so I invited Jessica to the show today. I'm going to bring her up here in a second, and I'm going to give her a chance to explain to you about the tool, how to best use it so that you guys will know what to do, how to take advantage of it. I know you have questions, so I have some questions for her. I'll facilitate this, and you're welcome to ask her whatever you'd like, and she'll do her best. So let's bring her out and give her a warm welcome. Please, this is Jessica. Now, her goal in life is to make sure that she communicates with those out in the world how to best use their product. So she's responsible for a lot of the content that you read about how to use the tool. So she's here with us now. It's nothing better than getting it from the horse's mouth. Let's give her a warm welcome, say hello, and give her a chance to kind of explain what Jobscan is in her words, not mine. So thanks for popping by, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to everybody.
Say that again. Okay, switching over to my earbuds.
Oh.
I gotcha.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to everybody.
Oh, appreciate your time. We really do, because this is a tool that I know a lot of my people in my community use. So let's just kind of get them warmed up with what is Jobscan, and just at a high level, what does it do?
Yeah, so at Jobscan, we have a plethora of tools to help the job seeker kind of even out the playing field, because so much tech is used on the other side of the process. So we help provide different tools. We have our LinkedIn tool, our resume optimization tool, to kind of help them work with that technology during the job searching process.
That's awesome. Maybe give us a little show and tell. What do you think? Let's see if we can get this up here for her.
Perfect. Yeah, so what you are seeing right now is our resume optimization tool. So basically what you do is you get your resume and you put it in, and then you also put in the job description that you're aiming to apply for. And it pulls up this report and it tells you the match rate. As you can see here, I'm not a perfect match for this. We'll get into like the match rates a little bit later, I know. But yeah, so it gives you the match rates of how much your resume kind of compares to the job description because the closer you can get to it, the better, of course. Then we have these little scales here to kind of show you like ATS findings, this is like specific to different ATS. So it pulls out the different ones look for different things. And so it kind of lets you know based off the job description, it can tell you which ATS is being used and compares your resume to that. Recruiter findings, this is advice from recruiters, skills match, what skills do you have within your resume versus the job description. The premium format checks.
Wait, Jessica, can I ask you a quick question here? This is a really important thing. So when you say recruiter findings, how does that differ from ATS findings?
Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah. So what is that?
Yeah, recruiter findings is we're in constant communication with recruiters. And so we have a whole bunch of advice that they give us all the time for what they're looking for and whatnot. So this is kind of looking at a little bit more of the human perspective behind it versus the ATS, which is like the technical perspective. So our tools kind of pull two things. So it looks at the specific ATS, but it also provides advice that kind of goes across all ATS. So that's where that pulls from a bit.
Okay. And then the skills match, to be real clear on that, is that when you say 8 of 24, so obviously we get these stats, is it that the job description is asking for 24 different skills and your resume or whoever's resume you're using here only has a third of them? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And you'll see whenever I scroll down a bit, it kind of pulls out those skills.
Okay.
So we'll get a closer look at that too. We have the premium format checks. So that's looking at, what's the font size, what's, all of that kind of stuff. And then the cover letter checks. I don't have a cover letter uploaded in here right now. I have another tab open to kind of go through that. But yeah, and so down here, you'll see, all of these kind of parsed out a bit. So the ATS findings, we have the ATS tips, we have the skills and keywords, we have the job title match. So these are all the different sections that, the ATS is looking for, down to the basics. And then we have the recruiter findings. So yeah, it's like word counts, the measurable results, the job level match. So, are you looking for something on a senior role? Or are you a junior applying for a senior role or a senior applying for a junior role? And then like words to avoid. So as you can see, I have a few cliches in here. So it kind of looks at that kind of stuff.
Can you pause there a second? Okay. So these, let me bring me back up for a second. She just showed you guys something so paramount. What do you always hear me say? No opinion word stuffing, right? Recruiters, their eyes roll when they see energetic and all these just buzzwords that mean nothing, and you always need to make sure that you are providing evidence. So I think the one thing that's really good for you to take away right where she was showing you with the results-oriented example is that when you are putting words in the resume to coincide with keywords that she was talking about, the matches, if there are softer skills or more trait-based stuff that they're asking for, it's still important for you to put evidence in, but don't flower up the resume with those opinion-based words. We call that, it's not just keyword stuffing, it's stuffing it with the wrong stuff. So just I cannot drive that point home anymore. But that was really a good point, and I'm glad that popped up. Okay, so back to you.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely. And as you can see, kind of, this is looking at the technical stuff right here. Do you have these sections? And the recruiter findings is kind of looking at a little bit more of the nuanced advice here. And then, education boost. And then here's the breakdown of the skills. We have the hard skills versus, the soft skills versus some of the other keywords that maybe you want to include. But the important ones, most important, are of course, the hard skills. So these are the words that are being pulled out of the job description and that you want to make sure absolutely are in your resume. And it shows even down to like how many times they're shown in the job description versus your resume.
Well, you got something there that's really interesting. We got a question from the community. We kind of put a poll out there, and you got that column variations. And somebody was asking me, does the tool? So I think the example the person in the community used was, well, if I have recruit, recruiter, recruitment, recruiting, is the tool smart enough to pick this up? Is that what that is right there? Or if not, can you comment on the tool's ability to pick up words that are close but not exact, let's say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so exactly. Sorry. It does look at different variations of the words. However, we really do recommend whenever you are putting together your resume, we know it's not always possible, but if it is, to try to use the word within the context that is used in the job description. Just makes it a little bit easier on the ATS. Some ATS even do a little bit of like a ranking and really just want that specific version of that keyword or skill, sorry. So we do count for it.
Right? These are ones and zeros, right? These are computers, folks. The recruiters can I know not only does recruiting mean recruiter, but I know also in many cases account executive means salesperson, right? So you got to keep in mind this is for a system, right? Is that a good way of looking at it?
Yes, exactly. Yep. Sorry, got a little bit of a frog in my throat here. You see your hard skills. So that's looking at, very specific to this role. We got some soft skills, competitive, innovative, driven. And then we have just some other keywords that maybe you want to include, maybe not. So content development.
So can I ask you about that? So yes. Like when you see the word, skill, it's you'll, Y-O-U-L-L, right? Obviously, the word need, similar. Some of these things are not necessarily effective, right? And so the person is getting, I'm assuming, knocked on the score, right? Because we see the X's. Do you have any insight into that? As far as, hey, I'm filling it in, I got 28%, or let's say I got 72%, but I'm noticing that I don't have some of these generic, names, pronouns, just kind of general words. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. What I will say is that these obviously are not nearly as important as the hard skills and the soft skills. And what we recommend is whenever you have the match rates, we want you to aim for 80% if you can. And so we never recommend for anybody to try to get their score up to 100. Once you kind of hit 80%, it's like there's not a super benefit to getting it a lot higher, because then you have to account for the time that you're including into trying to hit that 100%. And the job search, of course, is it depends a lot on this stuff, but also on the recruiters and stuff like that too. So even if this is working against you a little bit, it's not going to be enough to knock you down to the point where it's going to hurt you.
I'd like to talk about that. Let me pull me back up here. So wait, so you said something about the score. I know they're going to ask this. I know you and I even talked about it in the pre-show. But so So number one, she's saying, okay, you hit 80%. That's pretty dang good. Okay, and you could spend, what I always tell people, Jessica, is, hey, get your resume, write a base resume, get the job description if known, run it through Jobscan, look at the low hanging fruit, go after take a sweep and then load it again, and that's about it, right? Unless you missed anything, don't agonize over this. So what I heard her say is, number one, and please confirm, right? 80% is a good rate, but what they're also going to ask me, and I know this is much more difficult to tell. But maybe a two-parter here. If 80% is good, if I get an 80% match, if I get a 90% match, is there any evidence that, hey, I'm actually going to get an interview? And while, and I always tell people, look, this is a tool, right? There are no perfect tools out there. But is there any data behind, hey, if, we know that if you hit 80%, you're likely to get an interview X% of the time? Or is there any other, metrics or anecdotal information that you have that you might be able to share with them to give them some perspective? Because I know how difficult it is to collect that data. And just because you're 100% match doesn't actually mean you're going to get an interview, because employers could be well down the road. They might not even. I talked a few weeks ago that a lot of employers don't even look at resumes in the ATS depending on what the job is. So can you I know they're all going to ask you this. So can you give them some color here?
Yeah, of course. So I'll break this down into like a few sections. I said 80%. What we recommend is sometimes it's even hard to hit 80%. Sometimes the job description is just so insanely specific. Or maybe your education's a little bit different than what they're asking for, just like little nuances like that. So we're in constant communication with recruiters and job coaches and whatnot. And we pull a lot of their insights into our tools. And what they recommend for their clients and for people applying is try to get between 60% and 80% if possible. So 60% you still have, it still is going to be helpful for you. But of course, you're exactly right. The job search is just, there's so many different factors that go into it. So our tool is we're trying to help you. We're, trying to give you a better chance, give you the best shot you have with the technology. But of course, sometimes, the technology is not even used during the job search, and there's other factors. So it is hard to pull a specific percentage or anything like that. However, we do have a whole section on our website because we love to talk to people who like talking to us about their experience using our tool and getting interviews, especially if they've had a particularly rough job search. So one story that kind of comes to mind is a veteran that we talked to a little while ago. And he had sent over, I believe it was a 5-month period, about 300 resumes in, and got no responses at all. And of course, that's extremely frustrating. And it's just like so time consuming, so demoralizing. So then he found Jobscan, and he started to, make sure he was using our tool to optimize his resume as much as he can to the job descriptions. And he was saying he was spent about, 2 hours making sure that everything was as good as it can be. And he sent in 8 resumes at that point, and almost immediately he heard back from 5 people and got 5 interviews, and ended up with a really cool job. So, we are just trying to help level the playing field a bit. We can't guarantee,
that's fantastic. I mean, like, that's right. You don't control. These are a lot of things that Jobscan doesn't control. You don't control them. I don't control them. But I do like that story because, one of the things that I tell people, because, I try to balance that as a recruiter, somebody who has recruited at a high velocity for many companies, just because an organization has a 3-page job description with all these skills on it, when we would recruit, I would distill it down for my clients and say, okay, look, I know you want these 10 things. Tell me the 2 things that really matter that this person has to have. So when you think about having 60% match, you're talking about 60% of the nomenclature on the resume. You might have the one skill that matches that's all they need, or the top 2 or 3. That's a big, big difference. So folks, you got to realize that you don't know that. So you're agonizing over a match with the tool, but what you don't really know is what is the greatest weighted skill set. And Jobscan doesn't know that either because it's in the employer's mind. So wait, so great point on that. I got a question here that I had questions that seem to have disappeared. I'm not sure what my team is doing. Okay, well, I had the questions. They're now disappeared. So okay, let's go on. I know there were some good ones because there were, Kara, I don't know what happened to those questions, but if you can put them back because we were right on the subject. All right, wait. So you got the applicant tracking stuff, and you got some stuff that's related to cover letters. But I know I got a question that was a great one. I think it flew into my inbox this morning about one of the folks in one of my programs says, my career path isn't linear, and I've bounced around a lot, and so that there's a disparate background. I also would say we got career changers, and I know that it's difficult for career changers. So I'm always impressing upon career changers, the best route is through networking and try to get somebody to vouch for you. But let's say you can't make it that way. I know Jobscan's got a career changer tool. Can you give us a little insight into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me get you back here with the screen share.
Perfect. Here, I will go ahead and open that up real quick. So we have our career changer. Come on. There we go. Right here. So yeah, our career change tool, I'll show you how to use it real quick here and kind of explain it as we go. Kind of a similar setup as our resume optimization tool, pulls from the same technology. So you upload your resume. My computer's like, what are you doing to me? You're asking me to do a lot right now, and slowing down a little bit. So apologies.
It's looking pretty good. I mean, there you go.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you'll see that I uploaded my resume here, and it brings up a whole bunch of different career paths that match with my resume, or could match with my resume. It shows you, kind of the match scale right here.
Nice.
So what we recommend with this is kind of using it as an ideation tool. So a lot of times, you get on a career path and you're like, I have these skills, but, I don't know if this is the particular ladder I want to climb within this general section. So this is really helpful with that because it shows you a whole bunch of different paths that you can take. And then you can pull up the report here. A few things before I click into any of these reports. We recommend when you do this to have a master resume, not one that's already been optimized by us or anyone.
Great point.
Yeah, because it's also good for getting a baseline of where you're at. What skills do you have and whatnot? If you have something that's super optimized, then you're going to get very specific. You're kind of going to pigeonhole yourself right here. So using that, this gives you a good idea. And even if you want to go in a completely different direction, you have a good idea of you look at some job descriptions and kind of get an idea of what skills a lot of these job descriptions are looking for and what your resume has. And this is a good opportunity for you to kind of plug in and see if, see how close you're getting to.
Wait, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'll click into it. You'll see it looks very similar to the other tech we have, but it's looking at, your resume versus generalized, what is looked for within this field. So it it pulls up all the same
Well, and
information.
while it's pulling that up, let me ask you a question. So it says view jobs. So is this JobScan also becoming an aggregator of different roles that are out there? So has it pulled like an Indeed.com does, or is it viewing the jobs? Is it viewing like the brand manager? Is it talking about what a brand manager is, or is it actually going to show you which brand manager jobs are open?
Yeah, so if you go all the way to the bottom, and I should have scrolled down to this in the first one, but at the bottom of our reports, we have job recommendations where we do pull from, these websites looking at which jobs are open right now for this, specific role or what matches your resume. So
that's fantastic.
We do have
And Jessica,
have that.
can I ask you a quick question here? Jennifer Gregory, one of our, she's in our community, and she was asking, so what level of the job, I know we haven't really got into the memberships, but since you're on this, what level of the JobScan membership has this particular tool, the career, I'm assuming she means the career changing tool.
Yes. So here I can actually bring that up for you. I wanted to kind of show you guys that anyway, to kind of show the breakdown. Here we go. Pricing right here. There we go. So yeah, this goes into, oops, sorry, we have a little bit. We're working with honey now.
This happens to me all the time. Don't worry about it. It just
Yeah. So with our free account, you get the match rate calculations with the resume optimization tools and the comparisons and stuff like that. I believe the career change tool is something that's available for one of these paid accounts, but I will double check that for you.
So about $90, and you get a freebie. You get a free month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's for 3 months too. So yeah, I'll double check.
Great.
Yeah, I'll double check that for you and make sure that I drop that within the conversation on YouTube Live.
Yeah.
And if you guys.
We'll say this a couple times because I know people kind of jump in and jump out of the live stream. But when this is all recorded and when we're all done, it'll live on my YouTube channel. And you can also tag JobScan in the comments if you have questions that Jessica hasn't answered or we didn't get a chance to get to, or anything that she needs to clarify. But I think that gives them a perspective. It's about $30 a month after you get a free month. So you basically, do you register for 3 months at a time? Is that how that works? Or is it you could pay $50 a month if you wanted to, but basically you're on a kind of a quarterly plan is the most effective way?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then can you go back to, I saw there was you were trying to click in to see, I don't know if your system was allowing you, but to show them what that looks like if they wanted to go in and check out, sales and market or brand ambassador. I'm assuming the more bars that are colored, the better the word cloud matches your resume. I'm assuming, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So the higher this is, the more match you have. So as you go down a little bit more, it, the match isn't necessarily as high. But don't let that discourage you. And also shows, pulls the big words out of your resume.
Yeah, the word cloud. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a good ideation tool and a good baseline tool.
Is there any way to see one of those reports, or is it was that what you were having trouble open? Just click on it so that they can understand. Because if I'm them, right, and I'm thinking about investing in this tool, okay, because we have a lot of career change. I mean, I've changed careers twice, right? So we have a lot of career changers. Hey, if I wanted to invest in this tool, what would I be getting for these ideas for potential? What does that look like?
Yeah, apologies. I didn't realize it's bringing up a second tab. So I think what I'm going to have to do is stop sharing and then reshare on a different tab on my computer.
That's perfectly okay. Just feel free to reshare if you want. Perhaps we can talk about the LinkedIn tool, maybe if that's still open on the tab, and then we can come back to the report for the career changers while you're, while you're in this, in this tab.
Yeah. Yeah, sure thing. Okay, here. We'll bring in the LinkedIn then. All right. Okay. So LinkedIn, our LinkedIn optimization tool. So I pulled up a few stats actually I want to share with this because, a lot of people we have a tendency to downplay our LinkedIn a bit, but it is such an important job searching tool. It is so important. And again, we talk to recruiters all the time, so this is where we get that information. But 87% of recruiters reported using LinkedIn specifically to find candidates for jobs. And 94% of recruiters use LinkedIn to vet job candidates for a position.
That's staggering.
Yeah, very high statistics. So that's why we have this tool. This tool is to basically do very similar with our resume optimization tool. It looks at your LinkedIn. And so connect with LinkedIn. Yeah.
So this is just giving LinkedIn permission to access your data, I'm assuming?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We'll pull this up. Okay. You can do it. There we go.
Oh, there's
All right. John. There's John. I know.
Okay. John's our beloved. John's a great dude. John's
amazing. This is an oldie too. This is not what it looks like anymore. I think I can't remember if his dog Gator's in his LinkedIn profile picture now or not. But okay, so you log into your LinkedIn using our tool and upload your profile PDF file. So I'm going to show you, I kind of wanted to show you how to do this because not a lot of people know that this is an option. To do it, I'm going to have to unshare. You know what might be the easiest? I'm going to unshare my screen and then I'm going to share my window. That might be
whatever you want. It's a click of a button on my end, so don't worry about it.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll share the window. Here we go. That way you'll see all the tabs I had in preparation for this.
You got it. There you go. Good looking picture right there.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Pittsburgh that in the background because I'm a born and raised Yinzer. All right. So once you get to your LinkedIn profile, what you want to do is grab your PDF of your profile. So you see, like you set it up similarly to a resume here. And before we do that, to kind of show you how important this tool is, I don't know if any of you have ever clicked into your dashboard, but you can see the search appearances. So recruiters use LinkedIn to search for you. And if you click into your search appearances, you'll see who's looking at your profile. But even more importantly, you'll see the keywords that they're using to look into your profile. Yeah, so our LinkedIn tool, we really want to help you try to improve the search for keywords. So just give you a little bit of insight there. It's also just cool to see who's creeping on you a little bit. Okay, so then we'll go and download our PDF on our LinkedIn. So go to the more right here. Save to PDF, and I already have it downloaded. So, but it's right here, and then you click it, save it to your desktop, all that fun stuff, and then you go back to our tool, and you upload your LinkedIn PDF to Jobscan. Okay, here we go. Open. Okay, perfect. So then it brings up this screen. It has your information from your LinkedIn profile. And similar to our other tools, you just paste in a job description. So we have one open for
Oh, that's
at
fantastic.
Jobscan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just grab this guy right here.
Yeah, because while you're grabbing that and pasting that in, I mean, my thought there is, a lot of people, I mean, because some companies, they just use LinkedIn for you to apply for their job. So this is same kind of thing. This is LinkedIn's version of the career portal, and different organizations that you want to apply to. This is a great step to see, whether you match your profile matches.
Exactly. Yeah. So see, it's not giving. Usually, it'll give you the option to add, but I used this job description before, and it's recognizing that. So once you hit add, it'll bring it over here.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and then you click the ones that you want to include in your scan here. So I'm just going to click one. We say, you can pull up to 3 job descriptions, so you can kind of bulk it out a little bit. But we'll just go with one for right now.
And while
So
that's churning, Jessica, is
yes.
so when I looked at the applicant tracking system tool, is that's one for one, right? Is that so? That's right. So I think that's a great point to make here for people, that when you're using the applicant tracking tool, when you're going to submit your resume to the corporate portal, you get one for one. But on LinkedIn, you can actually put in a few here, right? There's a little more bang for the buck.
Yes, exactly. Let's see if I can pull it just so we can make sure we show what you're saying here. So let's see if we can pull it back here. We'll just scan. Yeah, so exactly. So job description and your resume here. Whereas with LinkedIn, you can pull in multiple.
Right, you're doing it one at a time.
All right, perfect. And then, yeah, it brings up, again, a similar report looking at what information we recommend that you have within your LinkedIn, and especially compared to the job description. It's all pretty basic: name, profile picture, location, industry. Your headline. Apparently, I should have a better headline if I'm looking for this job. Luckily, I already have a job here, so I don't need to
I'm
get
so
this
glad
one.
you showed this, because they ask me all the time, hey, well, what should my headline be? And if you are going to be using this tool, and you do want to give yourself the greatest advantage for, right, content writer, apparently Jessica would not be hired at this moment right now, but based on her LinkedIn profile, but this can be really powerful because it's more for you to match.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep. So it does. It breaks it down. The profile summary. Luckily, I think the job description for this is for PR, so we're okay. I promise my LinkedIn's not super unoptimized or anything like that. But yeah, we have work experience, short-term gigs, and job title match.
Well, and that's really important there too, because we get a lot of questions about, hey, Andy, my internal job title, no one's going to know what that is. Do I have to put that job title on my LinkedIn profile? And I think I always say, well, look, LinkedIn is not a legal document. It's a way for you to share your background with people. And so you might want to take some liberties here with the job title match, if you get better recognition with what the outside world recognizes. You're not system engineer 3, you're actually something else, nomenclature that people understand. But I got a question for you here, and it's actually not even my question. It's Allie Marie's question, because she's a beloved boot camper. So she's in my job search coaching program. So I know she's working hard and smart at optimizing all this stuff, because that's what we preach and teach. But she was asking, so if we understand this correctly, and so this is, I think, a quick one, the LinkedIn portion of this is only in the paid version. Is that right? Much like the Career Changer tool? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then she was asking also, do we have any kind of metrics? Do you have any? Now we talked about the pass-through rate metric, but are there any metrics on the paid version of JobScan for people who say, hey, look, I received the job within the first month that I started using the tool, or the second or the third. Do you have any kind of, and I always tell people, they ask me the same thing about my dang programs, right? It's like, well, I don't always hear from everybody. It's like, I hear from people sometimes a year later that say, hey, I'm up for a promotion. Can we have a coaching call? It's a promotion. I didn't know you had a new job, right? So do you have any things, there you can, stats, they love stats. This community loves stats.
Totally understandable. Off the top of my head, I don't have a specific statistic I can give you. What I can say though is that you just get more whenever you have like the premium accounts and stuff that you pay for. Here, let me open that up again so you can kind of see what all is included in here. It's just giving you more access to more tools. So even with our resume optimization tool, which is even available on a free account, it has a limited number of scans on the free account. Whereas whenever you use one of these other accounts, we just give you a lot more. We give you, more scans. We give you, limited scan history and stuff like that. You're able to better track your job search, which is a really cool thing. It'll show you all the places that you've scanned your resume against, which is really nice. You'll get the LinkedIn optimization tool.
So just to make sure I heard you correctly, did you say so let's say I don't pay my $90 yet, my $89. If I want to try it, the free version, what you're saying is I could actually get 2 LinkedIn scans to see if that will work. Because I don't see it on the, I don't see a check mark there.
No. That was for the resume optimization tool. Okay. That, like our bread and butter tool.
Okay. So if somebody wants the LinkedIn optimization tool, I think there's a clear point we need to make here, because it looks to me like if you want to try it for free for 30 days, you're not going to get the opportunity to try that tool. But if your $89 billed, I'm assuming you put a credit card in, it bills you, or it gives you the free month, and then it bills you after 30 days. Is that how that works?
Believe so. You already scripted.
Wait, if you're not entirely sure, that's okay. I just want to make sure that they know what they're getting into. If they want to try it for a month, are they? I'm assuming does 1 month free mean 4 months automatically you pay $90 right away, or is it you don't pay for 30 days, and even if you, because I'm assuming what that means is when you can try it for free, and if you bug out that before your free whatever that limit is, then you don't pay your $90 and you just would lose access to the features that are there. Right, it's literally a free trial, right? That you get for a month, except it's not a complete free trial, meaning you have some things that you can do and some things that you cannot do.
Yes, and I can put more information about the pricing and specifically everything, like the breakdowns there.
Wonderful.
I can circle back to you to make sure like we have all the nitty gritty details in here.
Yeah, it would be great. And I could send them an email and we can circulate some of the key points that you feel are really good for them to know. And all right, so is there a chance here now that we've got a taste of the Career Changer tool and the LinkedIn tool? The one thing I don't want to let you escape with is do you have a sample report that we could look at? So should they want to take advantage of that Career Changer tool?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. Here, let me see if I brought that up. If not, we can just go through the process really quickly. You know what? We'll do the process real quick again. So go to resources, career change tool. Unless, did I bring it up here? No, I didn't. Okay. Here we go. Upload resume. Yeah, marketing manager resume. Okay, here we go. So we will go into, we'll try to find one that has a bit of a medium. We'll do event specialist. So you click report right here. And all right. Excuse me, I have hiccups a little bit. Okay, so yeah, you'll see that it looks very similar to the resume optimization tool. It pulls from the same technology.
Okay.
So we have all the same stuff on the side here, looking at the ATS tips and stuff like that.
So were we coming from the career changer where you said view report? Is this the right? This is the report that they're viewing, which is very similar. But then okay, so it's the same style of report as before. Okay, and then the view jobs. If you click on the view jobs, does that take them? That takes them to like an aggregated, and then you could look at that. Okay.
Yep.
And then does it, if you click on brand marketing associate, does it shows you that job description, then would you just need to go back through the resume tool to see what the match is exactly on that specific job?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so for the career change tool, it's not pulling from one specific job description.
I
It's just
see.
kind of looking at your resume versus, I guess like an aggregate of, I think I pulled up event specialist here. Like what is usually needed for event specialist?
I
What
see.
do job descriptions usually look for? But yeah, if you want to very specifically go in and look for this, like I want to apply to this job, then you can use our optimization tool. Our
Then you're
resume
back at your
optimization
bread and
tool.
butter. Okay. All right. Wait. So
Yep.
I got a question. Okay. So let's go back to kind of your regular optimization tool, because Kara is telling me there's actually, this is actually a dang good question. I don't know who asked it. They should get kudos because I think this is a really good one. And I know you and I talked. The community didn't get hear us talk about. There are many. Actually, let me pull me back up here and let's you and I
Okay.
chit chat for a second. There are many different kind of applicant tracking systems, right? So there's
Yes.
Taleo, there's Taleo. There's other things that companies use. Workday. There's a whole hot mess of them out there. Do you know among these different applicant tracking systems, does JobScan have I don't know what the exact right way to ask the question is, but basically, is it more successful with certain ATSs than others? Do certain ATSs perhaps make it easier for JobScan to get the data JobScan needs in order to give you the data to tell you how close to match, or even does 80% match for this, for Workday mean it's going to be a better hit for you than 80% match on a Taleo system or something like that? Can you comment on maybe the universal nature, as well as are there any variances, discrepancies across the ATS universe? And if you need
Yeah.
a demo, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we should. Well, maybe it would be useful
Yeah,
to
sure. Go
demo here.
back to your screen.
Awesome. Let me see if I think I might have gone off one of the pages. I might still have one that's, yep, okay. We do still have one up. All right. So we can tell the ATS that is being used for these job descriptions. And we have information that we can use from these ATS to know, okay, this one's prioritizes this versus that versus this. And we do have a section, you see the ATS tip right here. So you'll see that we have some tips there, some advice specific to that ATS from that job description. But I will say that there is a universal nature to these reports. So that's one section that you can add to. You can make sure you're kind of optimizing to for that job description. But if your resume is used for some reason in another ATS, it's not going to automatically get counted out because this is just a part of it. We have general advice. We're looking for advice from recruiters and, all kinds of different areas of expertise. So there's absolutely, universal advice that's across all ATS we would recommend with these reports. And actually, that's most of these reports. So the specific stuff to the ATS here, like the specific one used for the job description, that's just one thing we're accounting for here.
Yeah, and just because people can't really see it, but what happens when you put the URL of the job description in, if you are putting the URL and the URL is going to the corporate website will in the URL have embodied in it the name of the applicant tracking system. You could, with your naked eye, can see which tracking system they're using. So it'll say blah 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 dot Taleo dot blah 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 job number 5678, right? And so it's also very easy. The system can pick that up. So a lot of the data that you're gathering and insight, whether systematically or informally from people using those systems, helps you with these reports. But you're right. Most of the feedback that you're giving is ATS independent. Right. So keep that in mind, because when they tell you, hey, don't put a table in your resume, I'd say don't ever put a table in your resume for any applicant tracking system. Don't do it. Yeah. Right? Systems have a hard time with them. So I think that's a fantastic question, and that I thought what you shared there was great. I know it's very difficult. Everybody wants a stat for, I want assurances this is going to work. That is not what this tool is about, or any tool for that matter. Right? It's to give you more help. It's help, not assurances, right? So
exactly, yeah.
How about this? Can let me go back to you and me up here, because I know we're going to be coming up on the top of the hour, and I do want to kind of throw some more questions at you. But before we you and I wrap up, some of the main questions I wanted to ask you is, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see job seekers make with your tool, and as it relates to applicant tracking systems? I think we all like to know where the risk is and the mayhem and the things we screw up that we don't find out till it's too late. But can you offer some of that? And if you need to screen share, let me know.
Yeah. Unleash the chaos. I would say the biggest mistake and what we recommend the most against is do not try to hit 100% match rates. Okay. It is just once you hit 80 is such a good, 80 is a solid number for you. And again, we would say like anywhere between like 60 and 80 is probably like a really good meaty area to be in. But to get to 100%, sometimes you're just never going to get it. So you're going to be demoralized, and you're going to be like, well, just psych yourself out, which so much of the job seeking game is just such a mental game to begin with. And you'll waste a lot of time, to be quite frank. And again, it's also a time game. And so if you're spending hours and hours on end trying to hit that, 95, 98, 100, there's really not that huge of a benefit to you to hit that, because the job search is so subjective. You could have 100% across the board. And a recruiter could, come back from a bad lunch or something and just be like, nope. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. That's very simple.
But your point is well taken, right? I mean, I get emails from people telling me I'm, agonizing. I can't get over 80%. What am I doing wrong? Will you look at my resume? Will you? So, right. Take it, run it through, fix up what, we know to be generally, we've got some evidence that this, these are things you should take care of. And move on. So that's a good one. Any other mistakes?
I would say that's the biggest one. We don't have too many people reporting back that they're having a lot of other issues. Try to just don't over optimize. I guess like that's my biggest advice here is just don't over optimize your resume.
The tool's pretty good. Right. The tool's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty easy to understand. And there's not a whole lot, right? There's not a whole lot of things you got to, manipulate. You basically get the job description or get the, get your resume. And all right, so let me do this. Is there anything else? I've got some questions here from the chat. Is there anything else you'd like to add, kind of before we go kind of into the rapid fire Q&A here?
Yeah, of course. There's 2 other tools I can show you real quick.
Yeah. Be my guest.
Awesome. Yes. So recently, can we share screen?
Yeah, you got it.
So we have our resume builder where you can build your resume from scratch here. It's ATS friendly, of course, and it's really easy to use. Build my resume. You click a template, and it helps you. It gives you different prompts and stuff to help you build it out, and then you can just download it and send it off. So that's a really easy tool to use that we have available. And then this is one of my favorite tools, and this is definitely a premium tool, but
what is this one?
This is our Power Editor, and this is so cool because it gives you real-time feedback. So you upload your resume, and you actually do it in the same way that you do it with our optimization tool, and then you just hit Power Edit instead of scan here. But it shows you a whole bunch of different pieces of advice here on the side here. And you can pull it up, and as you add things and subtract things, you can actually see the scores change.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love
You've had this for a while. You've actually had this for a while.
Yeah. I love it. I'm like, can we show this off a little bit more? So here it is.
No, I want, we don't. So when I recommend, when I recommend your tool, I recommend it. I tell everybody, look, I love it. It's a tool, right? Don't agonize. I tell them, get your resume, put it in there, take one pass, make the quick changes and run it again. And that's it. And then go. But it is, I do like some of these other features that you have. I especially like the career changer, for ideas, and the LinkedIn tool is very cool because a lot of companies are now, a lot of them are switching just apply on LinkedIn. We're there anyway. That's where we go get our people. Our recruiters are searching exclusively on LinkedIn with the LinkedIn's premium packages. So these are really good tools to take advantage of that stuff. Well, wait, so Jessica, so thank you for introducing all of that stuff for and we'll go to Q&A here in a second with her. But for anybody who is interested, I do have a link. Jobscan gives me a couple dollars. It's a tiny fee. If you end up paying them, which I could maybe buy you a cup of coffee with it, I feed it back into the business. But yes, of course I get a little bit of a referral bonus, but I do think the tool is genuinely good. There's a lot of good features in it. I do think it's an additional asset that will help you. And I think job searching is tough. I think we need all the help we can get. So check it out. Try it free, of course, just like you try my stuff free before you jump into my programs. All right, wait. So I got some questions here. And let's see. So Deidre Bird, who is a beloved Mile Walk Academy member and a great supporter of mine on social media, said, I joined Jobscan 1 month ago, and it is extremely helpful showing your comparability against the job description and resume. I've been receiving more interviews since using Jobscan. So Deidre, that's fantastic to hear. Deb Lemmy Show is one of our beloved boot campers. So she's in my job search coaching program. I've been getting many emails from Jobscan in the last week promoting TikTok resumes. Isn't this only for young folks? What would you? So now here's the thing. I'm not on TikTok. Wait, hold on. I have no. You could use whatever platform, people, that works for you. You know me, people. I like to spend a lot of time teaching, and I'm not going to try to distill it down into 15 seconds or a minute or whatever the heck the limit is. So what say you about that?
Oh, okay. This has been a big topic of conversation.
Give it to them raw. They want it straight.
Yeah.
They want it straight.
Yeah. So if I'm going to be completely honest, We do have advice on how to utilize that. We've been one of our writers, Allison, is amazing, and she's setting up TikTok for us and stuff. I think personally, I think TikTok has its time and place. I think that there's a lot of cool things that could happen with that, but I also see a lot of issues that could arise from it, if I'm going to be completely honest. Not everybody has their creativity shine in video format. It's I think the most you can get is 3 minutes. And so I think that if it's something that you want to utilize personally, like, try it. Why not try it? It's something cool. It's exciting to see that like something in the job search is so much of the job search can be so like the information can be, it's like bureaucracy. It doesn't change very fast, the job search in general. So it's cool to see like something else.
And it's stuffy. And so for Deb and anybody else on TikTok, I think if you're comfortable with it and that's you, the one thing that I will tell you and this is not a Jobscan related issue, and it's just this is a personal issue. The way I live my life is I am never going to alter my creative approach and use tools that are not me. And so if you want to give it a try and be your authentic self, that you feel that that's a tool where you can be your authentic self, then use it. If not, don't. You do not have to use every tool that's out there. You do not have to be every place. You do not have to try everything. You got to go with what's you. All right,
Exactly.
so we've got some more good ones here. We got some kudos. Christopher V. Jobscan is amazing. I've tried it. Rick Planos. Jessica, love Jobscan. First, my question. What do we got here, Rick? I have a beautiful, professionally created resume that scans great, but rarely gets me in the door. I have a sexier, younger Canva design resume that looks much the Canva resume that I'm assuming that probably has a lot of cosmetics in it. The Canva resume gets better results, but because if the text boxes, it doesn't scan. So what, right? You're in the biz. You understand what he's saying, right? I see pretty resumes that look like they should be somebody from looking for a creative job, versus the plain text, eloquent or the elegant style. Eloquent wording, but more text friendly. What thoughts on this? This is a really good one.
Yeah, this is a good one. So with our tool, of course, we offer like basic advice. We offer advice off of if a recruiter is going to be seeing your resume within an ATS, which has a tendency to strip all of that stuff, or at least a lot of it. We're talking about like the tables and stuff like that. A lot of those ATS are just like, get that out of here. You don't even go here. So yes, those, but I can also understand what you're saying. That, some of the prettier resumes, the design ones that have like those different features, maybe sometimes they do get you in the door. And that goes back to, and I'm sorry, I keep saying this, but the job search is so subjective. So maybe the recruiter is looking, I don't know what your field is, but maybe in your field, recruiters are more so looking at the resumes, like the actual resumes as is instead of within the ATS. So that might be where that's coming from. There's so many different factors when it comes to it.
Actually, let me add on to what she's saying here. So when we were recruiting at a high velocity, we had a Mile Walk had a career portal that was an aggregation of jobs we were recruiting for. We never advertised it, but if people found us and they went there and they submitted their resume through this, what was our version of an applicant tracking system, I was immediately given an email with your name, a subject line that said, Rick, for this job, your name, and then, basically it was a resume attachment. That's it. Okay, so the system was smart enough to email me the resume, and it was faster for me to go click, open resume, shut resume, just like that. So you have to realize that depending on the way applicant tracking systems are set, you don't know if they're actually reviewing your resume, or if they're letting the system screen it and say, and a recruiter goes into the applicant tracking system and says, oh, give me everybody who was basically our system said was an 80% match or better. Let me look at that. You could be sequenced the way the report Jessica showed you about the career changer. You know how to have like the 5 bars, 4 bars, and so on. Applicant tracking systems can do that. So sometimes they just open up the top ones. You never know. So I don't even like going that route. But when you go that route, you still don't know what's happening. So it's hard. It's certainly hard for her to say. I would tell you the same thing for all these reasons. So, but that's a great question, Rick. How about this one? Let's see, Susan Brown. I use Jobscan regularly, and it's invaluable. I love it. There is a section in Jobscan that is soft skills, and Jessica showed that. That usually comes back with words like energetic, passion, enthusiastic, and wants me to add. So her question, actually, let me field this one for you. Her question, so Susan, on this one, I'm going to give you the same advice I always give you. Would give you the same advice too. If the word is there and it's a soft skill, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't optimize it in your resume. If they're asking for a character trait or what you consider a soft skill, and from a keyword match perspective, you want a better chance, you make sure that that soft skill, that word is in your resume. But what I tell you from a functional standpoint is you don't just want to insert the word. Like, what drives recruiters just nuts is when they see a list of words at the top, like your skills, where the word just hangs out there, energetic, leader, this and that. You need to substantiate those with evidence. So please do put the word in. I don't have a lot of those words in my base resume, but if you're optimizing it and the system, Jobscan, says, hey, you need this word in there, energetic, right, empathetic, right? If I'm interviewing for a customer service position, well, how have you shown that you're empathetic? So give some evidence of the fact. So that's, unless you got anything to add there.
No, that's exactly it. Especially for soft skills, you don't want them hanging there because they're going to be like, oh, cool, this person's empathetic. We're just going to believe that.
We don't. No, it's an opinion word. Otherwise, if there's not evidence of the fact. So that's a great question. So make sure you're putting that in, but you're justifying why. All right, what do we got here? Lawrence Hudson. Now I understand why my resume never gets through. Awesome. Okay, thank you. Well, wait. Right, we got to detect this stuff. So that's great. Can't wait to apply your tools. Now that I have been searching, with Boss Honey for 10 months, you better get that. All right, Chris Hamilton. Professional resume template does not have hard skills section, but Jobscan looks for them. Is this where we would have 2 resumes, one for an ATS resume and one for our network track? Tell you what, this is an Andy question. Couple things. The template that I give you, the hard skills section is the core competencies in the career profile. Okay, so those are hard skills. Those are functional working knowledge, particular technical skills or business functions. And although there's a section in there up at the top that I put in the career profile, it's more important from an ATS perspective for you to have those keywords, those hard skills, inside your professional experience section of your resume. The applicant tracking system will be giving you credit when it sees them in the body. If you leave them just at the top, that's more for the human eye than anything else. But I would not have 2 resumes. So make sure they're in there. But Jessica, anything to add on the hard skills?
No, I think that's a good point. Those are just, the hard skills are so important because they show how good you are for that very specific position. So you definitely want to make sure that you include those in there.
Let me ask you a question. We got this somewhere along the way, then I think it disappeared on me. But somebody was asking, is there more credit given to the hard skills than the soft skills? Is there any? So let me qualify this. So a lot of times when you see a job description, it says required skills, and then in the required skills area, it usually mentions, not always, because in addition they usually pile extra things, but you're usually looking at the functional working skills, the hard skills we call them, like you need to know this software product or you need to know how to sell. That is a hard skill. And then they list in the soft skills section, which are more usually character traits, cultural alignment, other things of that nature. Does JobScan give more credit in matching, or is it just basically, no, this is just how your paper matches, irrespective of whether it's a hard skill or soft skills?
Okay, so is it more weighted whenever it comes to the hard skills? You know, that is something I want to check with our engineers.
Okay.
That's something I'll have to get back to you about. I want to say it probably weighs them about the same within our system, but within the actual, job search, of course, I would say, hard skills are definitely bread and butter of the resume. But that is something I can absolutely get back to you with after talking to one of our engineers.
I'm guessing that statement is accurate because, JobScan is marrying up what you're saying against what it thinks they want. The computer, it's very difficult for the computer to say, well, so I'll give you a great example. When we were looking for a community manager and we hired Stacy, and on Stacy's resume, this is not a knock on Stacy, she didn't have any hard skills related to what we needed when it came to content marketing for the influencer space or the coaching space. We meaning me, Kara, weighted all the softer skills and organizational skills and all the other things way above. So how's JobScan to know that? Right? How's anybody to know that all I care about are these things and the hard skills were secondary? So you guys have to realize you don't always know. Wait, what Jessica said is true. Most employers, the hard skill is going to be what they're focused on. But you don't know that, right? You won't know that until you actually get in there and get engaged with them. But that's a great question.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got let me see, Denisha. Wait, hang on. Sorry, we got that. Denisha, I often find that JobScan does not pick up my education, even if my education and years of experience matches the job description. How can I improve this? Any thoughts?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So it just doesn't it doesn't count it to her score. Is that what she's saying? Or?
Right. That's all I got here. But I'll tell you,
Okay.
I'd be a little stumped on that too. I'm not really sure. Is it, I'm assuming, let me ask it differently because we don't know. That's all the data, that's all that we have on that question. Does it matter if the education section, so when you section out, because you had a score on the sections, does it matter where the education is? Is it, as long as it's in the resume, is that good to go? Meaning some people have it near the top, some people have it at the bottom. Some people kind of have it in the middle, depending on how much extracurricular and other things that they do. Do you, and anything we can talk, anything to know about education, I suppose?
Yeah. So what I will say is, if a specific degree is specified within the job description, that's really what we're looking for within our tool. So if you, can I share my screen real quick?
Yes, please. Here.
Okay, perfect. So you'll see in the ATS findings, this is the section for education. And it says this job doesn't specify a preferred degree. But if a preferred degree is specified, you want to make sure that you are you want to include it no matter what, but your degree no matter what. But that's the important part. I would just say, make sure your education is on the resume. I have a tendency to put it toward the bottom, but I don't think that's going to count against, if you have it toward the top or wherever, it's not going to count against you. The reason I put it on the bottom is just because of, with my field specifically, it's more important for me to show my past experience, how I qualify everything. But there are other positions where education is more important, holds that degree, the school, whatever, does hold a little bit more weight. So, I would say that that's more so something that you should kind of follow your gut on. The only thing we're really looking for is just that you're including your education and your specified degree.
Okay, that's great. I do think that's some good advice. Let's see. We've got. This is a really good one. It's from Mr. 97. I know him as Mr. 97. Keith, if a hard skill appears multiple times in the job description, is it better to have the skill the same number of times in the resume?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Well, we're starting to get some doozies here. I like, any thoughts on this?
Yeah. Would you mind if I shared my screen again?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So you'll see here, let's make sure I have this for okay, I do have this for the optimization tool. You will see the job description shows how many times these skills are shown. And it will show how many times it's in your resume. I would say my advice would be try to get it similar. I don't think you have to count everything down to the, okay, marketing was in here 3 times. I can only put it in 3 times, or I have to put it in 3 times. I would just say make sure it's within the ballpark, and make sure the most important is that you include it. But yeah, I mean, if something's shown like brands shown within this job description 4 times, maybe put it a few extra times outside of just 1. But I don't think that you need to get to the nitty gritty of, okay, this has to be 11 times I include this word or anything.
Wait, so hold on, that's really good there. Here's what I would say, Keith. So when you are writing your resume, so think in these terms. If for those of you that go to the Andrew LaCivita School of Resume Writing, the second paragraph in the career profile, you're listing out your core competencies. That would technically be this one spot to get your hard skill in. You actually could even have it in the first paragraph. But when you go into your professional experience section, I would tell you that it isn't the how many that matters. It's making sure that if you did operations or whatever, well, if you did it at your current company, you did it there. If you did it in this particular job, you did it there. That word should be there. And then if, 5 years prior, you had a different title or a different company and you did it there, it should be there. And so it's really about having it where it belongs. And then to me, that makes it look good. It doesn't look like you're stuffing it, right? Like, believe me, recruiters know. We call it like word vomit, but basically it's like we don't want to see all the stuffing, knowing that that's just what you're doing. But if you did it that way, it would be appropriate. But I do like the fact that Jobscan will tell you X number of times, Y number of times. So it might be something that you want to say, hey, is there really, did I maybe miss it in some places?
Yeah.
So let me see, we've got something. We had a question here that I thought is a great question. It's not really a fair question, but this is maybe I need to take this one. Do you think Jobscan would be more beneficial than LinkedIn Premium if I had to pick one to purchase? Let me answer it this way. Okay, so Jessica's going to say Jobscan is more beneficial. No, I just kidding. But you know what I mean. But here's me. Let me give you a great example. I am, about to be 55, and ain't no way in hell I'm going to be putting my resume in an applicant tracking system if I looked for a job and closed up MileWalk. I would invest in LinkedIn Premium because I would weight my search on the networking side, in which case, to me, that would be more valuable. If I am a younger professional where I feel like, and by the way, you should all be networking too, but you've got a higher percentage chance in relation to your 100% chance of getting a job by applying online, while you're still going to be have a great percentage networking wise, you might be more apt to be putting your resume into an applicant tracking system. So in which case I might spend my $90 on the Jobscan option as opposed to $90 on the LinkedIn Premium. So if I had to, I don't know who asked that question, and I don't know if you what your position is or what your function is, but let me offer that as not just a diplomatic answer. I mean, like that to me is the way to think. I mean, I don't know, Jessica, if you got any, kind of this or that or any other color there that you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. What I would say is very along the lines of what you were saying. You have to take into account your goals, take into account your industry and what you're aiming to do here. I would say there's just, I completely understand. You have to balance out the purchases. I'm constantly doing that with my cat at the vet. I'm like, do I handle the heart disease? Do I handle the kidney disease? Do I
Oh
handle the
God.
bad teeth? So I completely understand. You can't buy everything. And I think you just really, you have to look at your goals and figure out what exactly you're looking for here. And, if you find yourself really thriving. There's some of us that are very extroverted. We really thrive in those settings of like LinkedIn with the networking and stuff like that. So just look at your strengths, look at your goals, and make some decisions based off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's you've got to remember it's a tool. One of the things that I don't give you guys a lot of these analogies, but you think about it, like, if I'm gonna build a house, right? And this is what a lot of us do. We go out and we buy tools we don't need, right? And if I'm a carpenter, I need the saw, I need the hammer, I need the whatever. But if I'm not building the house, I might need a spreadsheet instead. That's a tool. So you got to pick the right tool for what what your methods are going to be, and the value of the tool is going to be based on the method you use and how you use the tool. So that's what I would say on that. I do like this one from Cornelia, and I beat this one up, but let's let them hear this in your voice. Cornelia is asking, does Jobscan throw out, or basically ATSs in general, let's say, throw out graphic elements like dashes and boxes in front of lists in a CVs, but let's just extend it to anything, graphs and all that stuff.
Yeah. So with ATS, from my understanding is that different ones look for different things, of course. Different ones accept different things easier than the other ones do. When it comes to graphs, it comes to pictures, like photos and stuff like that, I just recommend against it, period. You have, I think, what's the statistic? 6 seconds that your resume is getting, the glance over, because hundreds, thousands of people are applying to these roles. You need to make sure you are utilizing every bit of space in the best way possible. And whenever you're incorporating those graphs, tables, photos of yourself, and like, you're taking very valuable space away from your resume where you could put, make sure you have the hard skills that you need, make sure you're qualifying your soft skills, making sure that you're using, you're doing what is really going to count here.
Wait, that's okay. So what she said, hold on. I want to drive this one home. That's a home run response, because let's actually take the negative of the course, the opposite view of the question. So number one, I completely agree with what Jessica said. You have got to take advantage of the paper, so to speak, and add in whatever is going to help you. You need to know a couple things. The more white space you have in your resume, the more what you have, blank, right? You're not taking advantage. Don't you worry about me and my ability to actually pick up what I need, because what do I always tell you? Recruiters look for what they are looking for, not what you are telling them. Okay, so remember, think about, you're the recruiter. The recruiter's got insight from a hiring official, right? So when I'm looking at a resume, the hiring official tells me, I need this kind of software experience. I need this much of this in this industry experience, and so on. When we open a resume, our eyes look at the whole thing and we're looking for where is that. And so we're scanning. So if you are not taking advantage of putting that information in, it's going to be more difficult. And then from a system perspective, so let's say I'm not looking at the resume, and the system has been programmed to look at the resume that way. So when you start putting in imagery and other things, it's not going to work to your favor. And the only caveat I would say about that, or the only concession I would make, is if you are in an industry where it does need to look pretty, I am the graphic designer, that I am the this and that, like, that's a little bit different. But for most of you here, the white collar professionals, commercial industries, and even federal and municipalities, the more plain, the better. The more plain, the better. Let me see. We've got I think we've got one here I like from Jules. I'm looking for a senior manager / director position. Should I not list the obvious hard skills that a person in a lower level position would do, like project coordinator? So basically, to genericize this, is there a way that other skills could effectively hurt me or maybe not benefit me? Anything like could you get penalized too?
Within our system or within the ATS?
Or just with both, whatever you know of the ATS, right? Because you're analyzing ATSs to build your system, but there's the way the system works, and the system, I'm assuming, is being programmed based on what you're discovering from the applicant tracking systems.
Yeah. So what I would say is that again, look at the job description, make sure that you have the skills that they include in the job description. That's number one. Just make sure you have those. I think as long as you show your journey and your progression, I don't see including some of those other skills as working against you by any stretch. Sometimes, some people get to the top and you're like, do they know those things from the beginning? So I don't see how they would, I don't think they would hurt you personally, but I would just make sure, hammer home that you're including the skills that are within the job description. That's the most important.
I think, you said something really profound there, because so interestingly enough, you're all on different journeys, right? So some of you are senior and some of you are midway, but let's take the senior people, like Jules, for example. There are career paths where somebody's looking for a senior person. Maybe you're in the technology space and you don't do that technology anymore, but it's nice to know that you did that, or that you did develop software, or that you did architect systems. And so you need to be thoughtful about whether you want to cut off your resume and not show evolution from earlier years. So it does depend. I would find it hard to believe that having project coordinator on your resume would work against you. The only way I think it would work against you is if you were doing that more recently, right? If you're doing it way back and you felt that was important for you to include to show an evolution from project coordinator to project manager to senior project manager to whatever, I think it is fine. I really do. All right, wait, we got another question. I know they're going to ask this, and I know the answer I give, so let's get the expert here to answer. Docx or PDFs when they submit? I'll tell you what I tell them, but you tell them what you tell me. I'm okay to be wrong, but go ahead. What do you got on that?
So within our system, you copied. I think our system goes with the docs. They like the docs a little bit better. When it comes to the actual sending them off, I usually do PDFs. Okay.
100%. Goes in a system, it's a Word doc. You sending it to a person, you send them a PDF, right? So she and I wholeheartedly agree. You will not go wrong, because when you send me a Word document, well, I have a Mac, so I don't worry about stuff. But I want to click the PDF, right? It's just safer. People just want to be, they want to know their safety. So that's awesome. I'm glad we agreed on that. And Kara, I know I told you to hold on the questions. We are down on the hour. So Jessica, 90 minutes. Thank you so much for this. I know you and your team put a lot of effort into this, and you did a great job in answering all these questions. And I think the tool will really help a lot of people. I really encourage you guys to try it out. You can try it for free. Can we all give Jessica a big round of thanks? And, she and I will kibitz a little later and try to get some answers to anything that she didn't have. And but if you do have any questions, we're going to leave this replay up. You can go in the comments and ask us, and we'll do our best to answer them. If I can, I will. And if not, we'll throw them over to her, tag Jobscan. And I guess, Jessica, anything else you want to say on the way out here?
Yeah, the only other thing, I'm a little biased, but if you want to check out our blog, we have a lot of cool stuff going up. we have, of course, the basics, how to do certain things, but we're working on some other cool content, things like job searching for introverts, how to like kind of conserve your energy and stuff like that, and even look at like the mental health behind the job search and how to keep yourself going. So we have some exciting stuff there if you want to go ahead and check it out.
I would encourage you guys. It's you know, I float around there. I'm always looking for what they're saying about what, and you know, that's how we keep up. But I just think, and they're a great bunch of people, and they've been a joy to work with, and I look forward to continuing our relationship. You all know how to find Jobscan. Make sure you use my referral link, because you know you got to keep me living, or I should say Mrs. LaCivita living in a way she's accustomed to. Man, that woman knows how to spend money. But okay, Jessica, thank you so much. We will see you. Tell John and the gang I said hey, Kyle and the rest of them too.
Will do.
All
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you. All right.
Bye.
See you later. All right. Now for you all, thanks again. I really appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. Those questions were beautiful. I mean, it just, you know, it's a tricky thing, searching and these tools. They certainly can help you, but I think that one of the biggest things that Jessica said that I really hope you know you pay attention to is, you know, give it a run, give it a go, and then go. Submit, hit send, whatever I tell you. Like, don't agonize. It's a tool. It should help you surface some of the really obvious stuff. But, you know, the one big mistake that she pointed to was she said, you know, people are just spending too much time trying to get it so optimized when you just never know how it's going to go, and you never know how the applicant tracking system is being used by the company. So as much as possible, stay out of them. But if you got to go into them, that's what I recommend you do. Have a base resume. Run it through Jobscan, or maybe optimize it first, then run it through Jobscan. Optimize it based on the description. Run it through Jobscan. Take one iteration, clean it up, run it again if you want to check out to see how well you did, and then if there's anything else, just clean it up and then go. All right, you guys. One other thing. Next Thursday, we've got Kevin Parker, the HireVue CEO, one-way video interviews, and he's going to give us his take on how you guys can best prepare for those, what they're all about, how companies are using them, and all that good stuff. So we got another one of these next Thursday. In the meantime, let's see what else we got going. I'll be in your inbox on Tuesday if you're on my newsletter list. And next Friday, I have a Team Apollo meeting. We're going to be talking about change management if you're interested in that. So, you guys, thanks again, man. Thursdays are always my favorite day for this reason. Always love seeing you guys. And everybody have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.